So in this video, I want to show you how to find the mean and the median of a data set. And we talk about the mean and the median being center values of a data set. So when I talk about the center, I'm talking about these two values. And typically when you see people talk about the center, they talk about the mean, which is the average. And when we find the mean itself is what we call X bar. So our mean is equal to what we call X bar. And X bar is equal to the sum of the x's divided by n. Now, we also have the median. And our median is equal to what we call the 50th percentile. And a percentile in a data set means it's up to that value and below. So when we talk about the median, we're saying that 50% of the values are at that value and below, or it's a middle number. And when we call it a middle number just means that you have the same amount of values on both sides of it. So these are our two center values that we're going to find. And in order to find the center value, the first thing we generally want to do is order our data. And so you see here I have my data already ordered. There are 12 values in the data set. And the other thing that I'm going to find already is the sum. And I found this sum using Excel. And the sum that I've got so far is 682,074. So that's the sum of all of these x's added up. So to find the mean X bar, we're going to do X bar is equal to the sum, which is at 682,074 divided by 12. And I'm going to use Excel to do this for me. So I'm just going to type in the cell, the formula equals this value right here divided by 12. And here is my mean, my X bar. So my X bar here is equal to 56,839.5. Now that we know the mean, let's go find the median. And again, to find the median, the first step is to make sure the data is ordered. And so my data here is ordered already. And with the data ordered, now I can count to find the median. And the median works like this. In order to find a median, because it's a middle number, the general formula for the middle number that we're going to use, and there's two types of middle numbers. It's the middle number of an even set and the middle number of an odd set. In an odd set, for an odd median, for the odd median, there is always going to be a natural middle number. And this means that when you want to find an odd median, all you do, we call the sample size, call n. That's the sample size. That's how big our sample is. For instance, in this case, our n is equal to 12. But for an odd median, you're always going to do n divided by 2. And this will always be some number. It'll be some number 0.5. Because when you divide by 2, an odd number by 2, you always get a 0.5. Whatever that 0.5 number is, you always round up to the nearest whole number. And by whole and by up, I mean no matter what that number is, you go up. So for instance, if we would have had an odd number like n equals 15, we divide 15 by 2, we get 7.5. We round this up to the nearest whole number, which would be 8. That means that the 8th value, or the 8th observation, is going to be my median. If you look at this data set that we're dealing with, right now, our n is an even number. So we have an even data set. So for an even data set, what happens is when you divide n by 2, you're going to get a whole number. Now, the problem with that, though, is that technically there are two medians for an even set. There is no true middle number. So to find the actual middle number, we're going to average those values. So here's how this works. You take n divided by 2, and you're going to get a number. Whatever that number is, you take that number, and you find the average of the number plus 1. So you're going to take this number, add it to this number, and then divide that number by 2. That's the average of those two numbers you're going to get. So let's do this for this particular example. So we have in our data set these 12 values. If we do n divided by 2, so 12 divided by 2 equals 6. I get a whole number. So here is your first median. I'm going to find the 6th observation. I'm going to add it to the 7th observation, which is your second median. I'm going to divide those by 2. So in this case, the 6th observation would be here. That's the first median. The 7th observation is here. That's the second median. And I'll divide them by 2. I'll add them up and divide them by 2. And I'm going to let Excel do that for me. So in this cell right here, I'm going to do equals, open parentheses. I'm going to do the 6th observation, which is this value right here, plus the second observation, which is this value right here. Close those parentheses, and then I'll divide it by 2. And I get a median of 47,799. So this is how you find the mean and the median. And I did it in Excel, but you can do it with a calculator. Calculator, you just add up all the values and divide by whatever the total is to find the average. Or you would order the values, and then you can do this by hand. You would just add up those two values and divide by 2. But that's how you find an even median. And to do an odd median, remember, you divide by 2, you'll get a 0.5. Whatever that 0.5 number is, you round it up to the next whole number. That observation will be your actual value in the data set.